BassResinator here. I am going to be making some artwork with some flowers that my granddaughter helped me pick, and I dried these using Wise Dry Silica Gel Sand. Now I have in here Ageratums, Celosia, and what is the name of that other thing in there? I can't remember. So I guess I will just use Ageratums and Celosia. And I'm going to use this black laser paste. Now this stuff is really pretty in here, but it doesn't stay as glistening in the resin, so you have to use a whole bunch. It's not like regular paste where you use just a little bit and it'll go a long ways. So I'm going to be mixing up about that much in 3 ounces or 3.4 ounces of resin. It looks cool, but it's not like other things where I say a little goes a long way, and no. So I'm going to mix this up now, and I'll be back shortly. I remember what those other things were. They were not even in there. They were sitting outside. I have 2 individual bluebonnet blossoms that had fallen off the plant. They had the plant was getting ready to go to seed, and so it had already dropped those. And Plains coreopsis, I have 2 of those. So I'm going to try and make 2 of these, so I don't need to have this very deep. Oh, that's a rich color, huh? I may have enough for 3. But if I do 3, I've got something else in mind. Do I have enough for 3? Oh, maybe it'll spread out far enough. Yeah, it'll go all the way to the edge. Good. It's not quite as deep as these other 2, but very close. Okay. Now, I'll get those other things in just a bit. I need to where is it? There it is. No, that's the wrong one. I have there it is. A little silicone tool. I'm going to go around the edges and make sure there's no bubbles. This is going to be the bottom. We're not seeing through that. Okay. Just loosening up any possible bubbles that are hanging out along the edge, because that makes life very painful. I made a piece before I had my YouTube channel. I made a piece. There are plants down here that grow stickers, and I mean thorns that are, well, there is footwear that around here we call chanclas, flip-flops in English. And then there's another brand that you go to leather. The chanclas are usually made out of rubber or foam rubber. And you can go to the leather ones, and those are called huaraches usually because they have more stuff over the top. But these thorns, they're called goat heads. And they will pierce through the leather and go into your foot. They've got a thorn. If you look at this blue bonnet, you can see my thumb. They got a thorn. They got actually 2 thorns that are really long like that, and then a couple smaller ones. That'll go right up in, and you can't get it out of the sole of your huarache. And if it goes into a flip-flop or a chancla, you can dig them out, but it'll leave a mark even into the chancla. And then there's some other ones. Those are called goat heads. Those, stay away from them. They are very painful. And they have a little bit of toxin on the end of them. And it stings and it hurts for days. And then the other ones, we just call them sandburrs, or the technical name or the scientific name is Centris incertus, which cracks me up. Incertus, because that's what it does. And it just looks, well, I may do another one of those pieces and show the process. But then when I got done with it, I wrote with a marker, ouch. Because anybody in South Texas, northern Mexico, you see those things and you know you're in pain. So, okay, now I want to wait for these to thicken up a little bit, because if I put the flowers in now, they're going to start sinking, and I don't want that to happen. So I will come back to you after about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. I'm using Bondcrafter 1:1 epoxy resin, the art resin, and I will come back to you, and hopefully I'll have my other flower that I'm going to be putting in there ready. Okay. Well, actually, I'll come back while I'm waiting for those to warm up. I saw Steve McDonald do this, and I just set these flowers down and they left some extra sand. These are the Plains coreopsis, but they are a composite type flower. And the middle section of the flower is these little fuzzy things like this Mexican sunflower. And in order to reduce bubbles, he puts UV resin on the middle and lets it sit there for a bit. And this can help alleviate some of those bubbles. It encapsulates those fuzzy things so they don't put out the same amount of bubbles. Now this resin rockers epoxy UV resin cures very fast. Okay, so now, and I really would like this to stand up better. How do I do that? Lean it up against the side, maybe. Hey. There. I didn't know sunflowers existed in so many different colors, but this bright orange is the Mexican sunflower. And I grew a couple plants last year. Had a ton of blossoms. Well, come on now. Look at all that sand that it left in that thing. Okay. Well, if I'm going to do it this way, then I will just do it this way. Now there may still be a few little bubbles that'll come up, but not nearly like they would. Okay, so there's that now. These I'm going to put one. No, I'm not. I'm going to put all of these over in this one. Now I need this guy to sit. Well, he's not going to. So I'm going to put it like that. And then these, I'm going to set like so. These are all related to each other because they are all composite flowers. You know, it would be nice if I could get this guy to lean over the other way so that they could all be leaning. Well, okay, he's going to lean like that. So, learning to lean, learning to lean, learning to lean like he's supposed to. Now this is very shallow resin, so I don't have a problem with it, with the thing sinking, because they're not going to go very far. And when I start pouring the resin, the other resin on top, I can push these down, because this petal right here is a little too high. Okay, I'll wait, come back on these. Be right back. Okay, you can see I've got some gold leaf I put in there. Now, I have these larger flowers. These are, I'm going to try and do them equal. Don't go too dark. And then to the right of it, I'm going to put the bluebonnet. You can see the gold through it. Let me see if I can get underneath there and get that gold out. There. If I can get these flowers where they will stick, then it'll make it so much easier when I put the clear resin over the top. Okay, now those pink flowers, I remembered, those are called Gypsophelia. And these are Ageratums. And I'm going to put these down here at the bottom, like they're growing up. Get some more up here. Oh, don't do that. Do you see it trying to lean over? Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Now, that's Celosia. Oh, this is a big red one. You know what? I need to try and swap, because that primrose up there is bigger than the one down here. I need to cut off a little bit of this stem. My granddaughter calls these Ageratums purple fuzzies. And we have fun with those. Purple fuzzies, we go see? Yes, we'll go see them. I'm really happy that she has followed the family's footsteps in that, because my grandparents used to have a floral business. Okay, I have a yellow one and an orange one. Now the orange one is small and it'll fit in there. Okay. The yellow one I'm going to need to trim just a little bit, just like I did the long red one. Yeah, pretty. Now I could sit there and add a bunch of other ones, but then we're going to lose them. And I would rather have less is more concept. So I can see the Mexican sunflower, Plains coreopsis, Celosia, primrose, another Celosia, ooh, touched it, the Ageratums, Gypsophelia, and the bluebonnet. So, and then with that laser paste behind it, it's dark enough that I can see the flowers, and it's got sparklies in it. And then with the gold leaf on there, then when I put the clear over the top, I think it's going to look good. So I'm just going to leave it right there. and wait for that to cure enough to where I could come back in with the clear over the top. And I still have some Ageratum pieces and some Gypsophelia, so cool. If you ever need items to dry your flowers, look up. There's a lot of different companies out there, but I have tried 3, and by far, Wise Dry has the best products. So if you're needing stuff to desiccate your flowers or to preserve them, look them up. They've got all kinds of new things other than just silica gel. They also have, they're coming out with, they're just developing it, what are those called? Not a window box. Well, it's a box, and it's a shadow box. That's what it is. But it is a dryer, and it will. You put your flowers in there the way you want, and then they've got these little silica packets that hide in the frame, and there's a little indicator light down in the bottom that when those little packets need to be swapped out, you can take those packets, put them in the microwave, recharge them, and then they'll be ready to go. So you can have a perpetual flower arrangement in that thing. It's really cool. And they also have, well, they are, what is the word? They're out there in front, they're doing stuff. Anyway, I think you probably understand where I'm going with it. Innovators in preservation of flowers and such. So look them up if you need anything. This is going to look cool. Emma's going to love them. Now, I may have to keep one here. Her mom loves sunflowers, so she's probably going to want that one. But Emma's going to have one in her room. I'm saying that right now. Don't know if my kid and his wife will agree, but, you know, that's where I'm coming from. Anyway, I'll let these cure up, then I'll put some clear over the top. Okay, see you later. I mixed up the resin, and I'm waiting for, I mixed up 2 jugs because I didn't know exactly how much this was going to hold. But as I'm waiting for that one to degas, I'm getting just a little bit of resin and putting it on top of these Ageratums, the fuzzy ones, to try and alleviate bubbles happening. Because I know fuzzy things can do funny things when it comes to bubbles. And I don't want those. If I can get this to kind of soak down into those, that's what I'm doing. Or trying to do. Then I'll let this sit for another 10 or 15 minutes as I'm waiting for them to degas, and then I'll come back. And hopefully I will have prevented a forest fire of bubbles. Yeah. Okay, be right back. Well, that's been a little while, so I'm going to just come back in and pour. Oh, look at those pretty flowers. That was already giving a few bubbles. Well, if I'm mixed up too much, I can always try and experiment with some type of a bloom. Or a Larimar or something of that sort. This is where I need to pour over the top of these petals to make sure they go down instead of sticking up above the edge of the piece here. Okay, so I do have some extra, and I can use this cup. There's a bubble coming up underneath that petal, but I can't put any more in there. You know what I'm going to try and do? No, of course you don't know what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try a Larimar in black. Can it be done? Make sure there's no air bubbles under those. Get some colors out. I'll be right back. Okay, I mixed up Cocuyo Black from Eye Candy, Brewery's Shimmering Alcohol Cobalt Green, Shimmering Alcohol Yellow, that's Brewery's, and then I've got clear. So what I'm going to try and do, you know how usually you pour the white in first? Well, we're going to do the black. You know, I wonder if I've got enough for two. We'll do it. This one's not going to have as much. Okay. Now we're going to go with the cobalt green. Oh, man. It's really pretty. And I mixed that in so it's not that metallic stuff or the shimmering stuff shouldn't sink. Man. Now this top one up here that I'm pouring in right now does not have as much of any of the colors. Okay, clear, do a quick push. Quick push. I have no idea what's going to happen there, but we'll find out. Still got some clear. Let me go over here on top of this. Okay, now just a few bubbles here and there. And I'll leave it running so we can see what happens there. Okie doke, I'll put stuff away. Well, everything's cured up. I took these out because I was really interested in seeing what the other side looks like. I don't know what that looks like. I don't like that side. I like this side. So both of them are the same way. I don't know. It's like something smeared on the mold, but that's not. I think that's a color. Anyway, I'm going to use them as that side. I can always set a piece of art on there. Like, okay, I got this weird looking thing that I just had extra resin. And that looks cool on there. So keep those around. Okay, now Emma's Petals. And I had a dribble of resin right there. And I'm not calling these part of the collaboration for coastering through the week. They could be coasters, but they're thick. Like almost an inch thick. Look at that. That background is cool. Now, I did have some bubbles that were coming up that I could not control. And I don't know if you can see them through the side. They're at different levels as they were coming up, and then they cured. Those little Ageratums were giving off the bubbles. That's really pretty. Where am I putting it? I'll put it up there for right now. Oh, that gold sank all the way through. So here are the two that are almost the same. I mean, the same flowers. Different size of primrose and different color going across the middle. But other than that, they're the same. That black laser paste, it's almost holographic, even through almost an inch of resin. That is crazy stuff. Okay, now this last one with the Mexican sunflower. A little tiny bubble was hanging on the petal there. But the majority, oh, there's one hanging. Oh no, that was that when I did the UV resin on it, it captured a bubble. And there's one bubble coming up on from that coreopsis. It was trying to come up and it didn't make it. But yeah, these came out really, really pretty. And when, I don't know if you can see it. Let me do this. You can see through. It's not super opaque, the black laser paste. So it's sort of, it's translucent, and it's leaning on the edge of it's transparent and what was the word? Transparent and starts with an O. This is dumb. I'm going to pause while I think. Opaque. It's transparent and opaque at the same time. If that makes sense. I'm going to have to go around and file down the edge. But yeah, came out pretty cool looking. My granddaughter is going to love this. Love this. Okay. On a black background, those are, whoa, let me do that. No. That. No. This one's just going to have a light on it. Sorry. A glare. Maybe if I do that. But then you got my big old fist in the way. Anyway, on a dark background, that black laser paste is opaque. light or just out in the open, it's transparent. So it's kind of weird how it's hard to describe what that is, but if you see it, you'll know what it is. Maybe you've got a word for it. It's more than just translucent, because more than light passes through, because I can actually see my hand, but it's opaque because of the shininess. Anyway, interesting. Maybe we have to come up with a new word to describe it. Okay. Speaking of new, if you are a subscriber of mine, and I've had quite a few new ones lately, so that's where the new came in. If you are a subscriber, thank you so very much. I appreciate you for coming and on this resin journey with me. If you are not a subscriber, join. Well, I should not use that word. Subscribe. It's free. And it's fun. I mean, I do lots of creative things here. If you do subscribe, right next to the subscribe button, there's a little icon of a bell. And if you click that after you've subscribed, then you'll get notified anytime I do something new. And I use the word join. I do have channel memberships now. So if you click join, that does cost, but less than a cup of coffee. $1.99 or $2.99, depending on which level you choose. If you choose the first level, it's the blue bonnet. I do not have an Indian paintbrush in these, but I do have Indian paintbrushes that I dried last year, and they're still sitting in a container over there because I have not used them all up. But anyway, just wanted to let you know, if you want to do channel memberships, if you want to support the channel in more than just casual way, there is a monetary way, $1.99 or $2.99 for those memberships. But everything, any money I get from this channel goes back into resin. In fact, I want to show you my latest purchase. And I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do because this company is in Europe and shipping charges are ridiculous. But I got Artline Honey resin. It's medium viscosity. I have seen some people over in Europe using that, and they were talking about how great it was and everything. So I thought, oh, let me try it. So I used some of the money that I got from this channel to try that out. So that'll happen sometime soon, and I'll let you know when I'm doing it. Because I don't have a lot, because, you know, it doesn't cost all that much as far as resin goes, but the shipping is way more than the product, which, you know, that's prohibitive for me. So, sorry. Anyway, crazy economic times in the world today. So, Emma's Petals. Hope you liked this video. I will try and take a couple stills specifically so that you can see the opaque, transparent, apparent. We'll come up with a word for it, whatever it is. I will grind that corner down, or that edge down, and then take some pictures. So thank you for being here for this. Hope you enjoyed Emma's Petals. Bye.